going live on YouTube. So there may not even be anyone in here. I don't even really know how this works, but I got to start growing on YouTube. So you are watching the process of how that is happening. So when I have 20K, 100K followers on YouTube, you can say you were here when I had 445 subscribers. But in this video, I just did one on IG and I was like, let me come over here and practice what I preach and do one on YouTube. I am doing three things this year. So it's September and I have 3 months to achieve three specific goals that I set out for this year. So I'm going to talk to you about the exact strategies I'm using to try to reach those goals. And hopefully it'll be helpful to you and you can implement some of these strategies as well. So my first goal is to get 100,000 Instagram followers. Now, right now, I have about 91.9K followers on Instagram. And so getting to 100,000 by the end of December is completely possible, but it's not a guarantee. So it's going to be a tough goal, but I have a few execution strategies that I know will work to at least get me closer. A few days ago, I was like, I'm just going to give up on this goal because I don't think I'm going to reach it, but it's completely possible. And sometimes we know what we need to do. We just don't feel like doing the execution part of it. So I know for a fact I will grow on Instagram if I post 3 times a day. Now, posting 3 times a day is a lot, but it's all about systems and execution. So either I want to put in the work and implement the systems and execute, or I don't. And since this goal is really, really, really important to me, the answer is yes. I want to put in the systems and execute. And so my strategy for reaching 100,000 Instagram followers is to post 3 times a day. And this is going to be posting old content 3 times a day, but a lot of new content that I'm not sure will work. Because you have to have a percentage of experimentation in order to jump to the next level. There are some pieces of content that were a complete experiment for me that actually ended up doing really well or actually ended up going viral. So these next 3 months on Instagram, it's going to be about posting 3 times a day, posting content that I already knew did well, slightly modifying and changing old content that might not have did well or did well, but I need to update it, make slight verifications to slight modifications to make it a little bit better, because even content that did well can always be, you know, can always be better. And so it's all about iterating and making it better. So that is my strategy for Instagram. I grew organically on Instagram. And so that is a good thing because I know my followers are my followers and they're there for me. I also, because I grew organically on Instagram, know how to create good content on Instagram because I did it the hard way. I did it by posting 3 times a day. And I've studied this, y'all, for a year. If I post once a day, I do not grow. If I post 3 times a day, I grow. And so while I don't want that to be true because that is a lot of work, if I want to reach my goals, that's what I got to do on Instagram to grow. So that is my first goal and the method that I'm using to get to 100,000 Instagram followers. My next goal for 2024 was about YouTube, which is why I'm here at the beginning of my YouTube process. So if you're here right now, when Dr. Howard has 100,000 YouTube subscribers, just remember that you were here from the beginning. You were here when I had less than 500 YouTube subscribers, because I will win. I will win at this platform too. So my goal for YouTube was to get to 500 subscribers by the end of this year. And last week I had like under 400 and I was getting really down, like, oh, it's not going to work. I was about to give up on this goal, to be quite honest. because it feels like my days of starting on Instagram when I had no idea what I was doing and when I just would like cry. I'm not gonna cry about YouTube, but I'm at the bottom of the mountain, y'all. So y'all are I'm sharing my process as I go. And Arcadia, thank you for being here. It's two of us in here, so I'm really starting from the beginning. But I doubled down a week ago and I was like, you know what? No, I still can reach this goal of getting 500 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm going to go after that goal. So right now I have 445 subscribers on YouTube. Now listen to what I just said. I just said last week I had under 400, but I executed a plan and now I have 445. And it is quite likely that by the end of today, I will have 500 subscribers on YouTube. And so here's what I decided to do, which is a lot different than my method for Instagram. I realized that I already know how to create good quality content that people like because I grew organically on Instagram without buying my way to growth. And so I said, if I already know the videos that people like, it's just about data. So I said, okay, I'm gonna repost the videos on YouTube, two of them that I know absolutely work, that went viral organically with no money spent. I said, I'm gonna post those on YouTube and I'm gonna run $5 a day of a promotion to one of those videos to see if it works. And that is how I went from less than 400 subscribers like 2 days ago to 445 today. Like literally yesterday in 24 hours, I got like 40 new subscribers. Sometimes we do something really well in one area and we don't realize that it's a transferable skill that we need to be applying to the next thing we're trying to do. And I have been a victim of this over and over and over again. The thing that clicked for me in creating content on Instagram when I was really, really, really down about it because it wasn't working, I was like, I'm a writer. I know storytelling. I should be kicking everybody's butt in terms of creating engaging, in terms of telling an engaging story or writing an engaging story. Period. If you are a writer, you should be kicking people's butt into storytelling. So I leaned into the storytelling to be like, okay, I'm gonna nail this hero's journey. I'm gonna invest like a year in just really getting better at storytelling because I'm the writer. And so that I use those skills and transferred them to my Instagram content. So I'm doing the same thing with YouTube. I know these videos work. Now let me go to YouTube and use what I know works, but this time I am cheating a little bit because I do think buying ads is cheating. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying cheating in a negative way because like all the people that y'all follow that have big accounts, like the Alex Hormozis of the world, the Gary V's, they're like spending, first of all, they got like 50 employees and they're spending tons of money on ads. Like I heard Alex Hormozi say that he spent 250 a month to promote his book on ads. So like we little people, if we not using ads, we doing it wrong at this point. But you do have to do it in a way that makes sense. So I'm running an ad to a specific post that I already know people like because they liked it on TikTok and and Instagram. So it is proven. There is no guesswork. So I knew that when I posted that on YouTube and I ran a promotion to it, that it would do well. I didn't have to guess. I didn't have to waste money. I didn't create a new video and say, let me just throw an ad at it and then waste money on YouTube. See the difference? I learned in this area and I used that knowledge to grow in this area. Now, the reason why this could backfire, and this is why I'm all about showing you the process so that you know what works and doesn't. The reason why this could backfire, and I'll let you guys know in 4 months, is that I believe when you run ads to things, you're forcing people, and you're forcing it on people. They're seeing things that it's not natural or organic. It's just like a movie or a song. You hear a song and you hate it, but then the radio plays it every single day. You hear it everywhere and it gets stuck in your head, and then you find yourself singing it. It's because they forced it on you, right? Just like books. If you got an ad spin where you can reach 1 billion people, people are going to buy your book because it's just everywhere. That's different than you just wrote a really good book and it blew up word of mouth. If it blew up word of mouth, it's because it's a good book, right? And you didn't have to put it in front of you. Didn't have to spend $250 a month on it. That's just my philosophy. But what I'm saying though is if you're running a business, you need to be running ads. Is just do it smart. run ads to things that already worked on their own, not just any random video that you want to try to sell something to somebody. So, on YouTube, this has worked. I got 40 subscribers in like 24 hours on a piece of content that I already knew people liked. So, yes, I am going to get to 500 subscribers by the end of December. I have 445 now. The reason why I say it could backfire is because the people that are subscribing, they had an ad that was put in front of them. And yes, they like the video, but they might not like me. They might not like the rest of my content because it wasn't organic. So I have to see if the people that subscribed are actually going to watch my other videos, are actually going to stay, are actually going to engage, are actually going to show up to my lives. I don't know that yet because the strategy that I'm using for YouTube for this particular moment of where I am, I basically bought them, right? So we'll see. Now, I am posting regularly on YouTube so that I do put myself in a position for those other pieces of content to grow organically. I'm posting like one long form, like how to video a week, and then one short video a day. And I am having a designer do the thumbnail. So I am doing all of the other things. It's not like I'm just posting a piece of content and running an ad to it and not doing anything else. So hopefully this will balance the situation out. And maybe the people that I did run the ad to and became subscribers, maybe they will stay, maybe they will engage with the other content, maybe they will funnel to some of my other paid things. I don't know. But if you follow me in my Patreon, if you follow me here, if you don't know me, I share my process in real time. So I teach other entrepreneurs six-figure strategies. And on my road from six figures to 1 million in net worth, I'm sharing my process the same way I shared my process to get to six figures. So you get to learn my strategies, but also as I learn things, I share them with you to help you grow, to help you be in community and all of that good stuff. So that's my second goal. The first one was 100,000 on Instagram. The second one is 500 subscribers on YouTube. I talked to you about my two strategies there. My third goal, which I don't know if I'll reach this year, is 500 Patreon members. Now, I have 455 Patreon members currently. And those are organic. I didn't like buy those people. Obviously, like Patreon is a little bit different. Like they're not about to spend money on you monthly if they're not into your thing. But this is a mix of free Patreon members and paid Patreon members. So I don't necessarily care if they're free or paid. I just need to hit that benchmark of 500 Patreon members. So there are a few things I've been doing to get to 455 Patreon members that work a little bit, but they don't work in any extraordinary way that will guarantee that I'm going to get another 50 by the end of December. They do work in a way that will guarantee that I'll get another 20 by the end of December. So I'm going to have to implement some other creative things to find something that works to push me over to that 500 mark. Now, it's interesting because I wrote a book on how to get your first 100 Patreon members, that if you follow, you will get 100 Patreon members. But every level is different. So the way that I got from 0 to 455 works. But to get to 455 to 1,000, it's different. Just like the way that I got to 90K followers on Instagram work, but to get to the next 90,000 is different. So some of the things that the baseline strategies are the same, but you do have to add new things. Like you got to experiment. And in that experimentation, people are going to see you fail publicly. And it's just part of it. And the quicker you can get to understanding that it's okay to fail in public, the quicker you can get to success. And I say that because a lot of the things that I have to try on Patreon to get to 500 members is going to be a lot of experimentation, leaning into the things that I know work, but a lot of experimentation that's just going to be me failing in public. So I give everybody that joins my $12 and up tier an autographed copy of my most popular book, which is a book called Why Wakanda Matters. This book was a clue on Jeopardy! You can get it by joining my $12 tier or up. I ship it all around the world, no shipping cost. So that definitely works to get people into my Patreon. Now, right now, I'm running an ad on Instagram to a post that I know gets people into that funnel, and I know that people like audio messages from me. So from in this funnel on Instagram, I tell people to DM me the word Wakanda, and I'll send you a link to get an autographed copy of Why Wakanda Matters. I then send them the link to my Patreon. I tell them if they join for $12, they'll get the book. It's a funnel. So one of those messages is a video that I say, hey, I really would love for you to join my Patreon, da 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 da. The next message 24 hours later is an audio message. Hey, it's Sheena, just reminding you to jump in. And then that converts some people. Now, that's not enough to get me to my next 50 Patreon members. What's up, Rogers? Thanks for being here. You double dutying on me. So Rogers is in my Patreon. Thank you so much. I hope that it is super valuable to you, and I love working with you. But I know that works, but that's not going to be enough to get me to my next 50 Patreon members. So there are some things that I definitely need to do to reach that goal. So one is going to be going live. If I go live every day on Instagram and funnel people to my Patreon, that will work. Will it get me another 50? I don't know, but I know that it will get me more because I've been doing that. Have I been going live every day on Instagram? No. But I'm gonna have to implement that. So those are two things that I know will get me more Patreon members. The other thing that will get me more Patreon members that I stopped doing was emailing people and just emailing people in my network that I know, and just saying, hey, you can join my Patreon for free. And if you know anybody that would like to join a paid tier, can you send this to them? And the reason why I do it this way is because asking somebody to join for free doesn't cost them anything. And implied in there is that I want someone to join the paid tier. And sometimes the people that I email do join the paid tier, or they'll just join for free. It doesn't matter if they join for free or paid for the purposes of me trying to get to 500 Patreon members. And then, so those are some of the strategies I'm using to grow on Patreon, and it's going to be a slow growth. And 3 months is a long time, but it's just not a guarantee that they'll work. And then I'm gonna try some other creative things that I experiment with that may or may not work. So if they work, I get to come back and tell you, hey, this is what I did and these work. If they don't, I get to tell you that too, so that you don't try them. But the point is, if you have goals that you're trying to reach this year, I know that it could feel like the year is going by quickly and there's only 3 months left, but don't give up on them, because you might not reach them, but you might get really, really close. And if you experiment, add like 10% of experimentation in there, you might have something that surprisingly works. Like, the things that I think you guys want in my head are usually not the things that go do well. Like, I would have never thought people would join my Patreon for a copy of my dissertation. I just would have never thought that. But I'm glad that I experimented on content like that, because it ended up working. Something I thought that would not have much movement had tons of movement. So, oh, hey mom, how you doing? You found me on YouTube. I have to start going live on YouTube now. Because I need to grow on YouTube. It's a whole nother thing. So yeah, so those are my three goals. Those are some of the strategies that I'm using. I really would like to write out these strategies and share them in my Patreon. That's probably what I'll do. I'll probably get the audio of this transcribed and then type it up in a document for my Patreon members. So there you go. If you want to join my Patreon, go to patreon.com/Dr. Sheena Howard. Join for free or join paid. I don't really know how this YouTube live works, because this is the first time I'm going live on YouTube. So I don't know if it's going to save this video. I guess I should be letting people know that I'm going live, but that's a whole extra step. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. I'm Dr. Sheena Howard. You'll be seeing me go live more on YouTube. You'll be seeing me go live more on Instagram for the rest of the year. Those are my goals. I hope you stay true to your goals. Even if you feel like you might not reach them, you can still get close. So I am out of here. Now I got to see how you log off of this thing.